All right. Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year, everybody in the press as well. This is a really wonderful gathering to celebrate something great happening in New York City. And this is a great way to kick off the new year, because what we're going to do in the new year is take care of our planet, aren't we? When I see these kids, it reminds me of what my own children have told me. They want to make sure that all of us protect this planet for them and for their children. It's urgent for them. They've seen what's happened all over the world. They know the time is now. This is something we do for our children. This is something we do for our grandchildren. It's as simple as that. Here's what we say today as we start this new year in New York City. We say no to fossil fuels that keep heating our planet.
That's right.
We say no to big oil's greed. And we definitely say no to Styrofoam. No more. No more.
No more foam.
No more foam.
No more foam. No more foam. No more foam. No more foam. No more foam. No more foam.
Today, we ban Styrofoam in New York City. We say no to Styrofoam and yes to a more livable future for our planet and our children. That's what this is about. I want to thank especially the kids who are here from PS 15 and Red Hook. Thank you. It's some of the best chanters I've seen in a long time. They organized a rally in 2018 to ban Styrofoam. They came to City Hall, these young people, to stand up for the planet. Let's give them a big round of applause. I want to thank all the advocates who are here with us, all the members of my administration. A special thanks to our director for the Mayor's Office of Sustainability, Mark Chambers. I want to thank our friends from the Yemeni American Bodega Association. Here's what we all know. We all lived through Sandy. We all saw what Sandy did to New York City. We all know that global warming is real. And we understand it was caused by the fossil fuel industry continuing to push a product that's harming us. And that's what this is made of. Fossil fuels, petroleum. This is part of the problem right here. And we were told for so long we couldn't live without Styrofoam. Well, that's wrong. We have to do a whole lot of things differently now. So in this city, we've gone at the problem. First of all, we took on the people who caused the problem. We sued Big Oil. We said, you have to pay for what you've done. First major city in America to take all of our investments, all that pension money out of Big Oil, out of fossil fuels. Instead, we're investing money in renewable energy. That's where our money should go. We're committed to reducing emissions in this city by 80% by the year 2050. And we're committed to zero waste to landfill. Now, this is where Styrofoam comes in so powerfully. When this goes into a landfill, it takes eons to break down, and when it breaks down, it only lets out toxins. And every single one of these is made out of petroleum. That's the problem to begin with. Here's the extent of it. Before this ban, New Yorkers threw away 60 million pounds of Styrofoam a year. 60 million pounds that all our friends at sanitation had to deal with, that we had to pay to send to landfills. I knew for a long time we had to get rid of the styrofoam. When I was in the city council, I had the honor of warming up the seat for Brad Lander in the city council, right here in this district. I introduced a bill to ban styrofoam use by city agencies. That was a decade ago. We're finally getting to this day now. We're finally getting to the changes we need. But I want to be clear, when I introduced that bill, it was because I heard the voices of people in my own district. I heard from the parents and the kids at PS 154 in Windsor Terrace who couldn't stand the fact that their food was served in these. And they said, you know, this was a decade ago. Whoops. They said a decade ago, look, here's something better. Here's something better. Biodegradable containers that will not harm the earth, that are not made of petroleum. There's something better. The kids and the parents at PS 154 knew that a decade ago. The kids at PS 15 knew that when they rallied at City Hall. Now we're finally there. It took years. We had to fight in court. The industry tried to stop us every step of the way. They spent millions and millions of dollars to protect something that was hurting us all. But you know what? The courts sided with us. The courts sided with the people, and they said a styrofoam ban is the right thing. So I'll conclude. Before I turn to my colleagues, I'll say this. When we talk about a city for everyone, when we talk about the fairest big city in America, that starts with being a city that you can live in, a city that's clean, a city that's healthy, a city that's going to survive global warming. This styrofoam ban takes us in the right direction. And I want to say a thank you to the ultimate beneficiaries, but the ultimate activists, these young people. Let's thank them. Few words in Spanish. Cínicamente, las grandes corporaciones han promocionado productos como el poliestireno que causan cambio climático. Hoy la ciudad de Nueva York prohíbe el uso de poliestireno porque dura para siempre y emite toxinas. En este nuevo año, decimos no a poliestireno y sí a un futuro sano para nuestros niños. No to styrofoam, yes to a healthy future for our kids. And now, one of the great leaders in this cause, and she knows better than anyone what it means that styrofoam will not be going into those landfills, our Sanitation Commissioner, Catherine Garcia.
So I am thrilled to be here. It was a long, very tough fight to get here, and we could not be standing today talking about a ban on styrofoam without our elected officials, without all of the children who have been advocating, as well as every environmental advocate who helped every step of the way. And I'm also going to give a small shout out to the law department who defended me over and over again in court. But this is a big day. There's a huge amount of styrofoam that we don't need to use, that not only will end up in landfills polluting our environment, but often gets washed into our waterways, that gets washed into our storm drains. And so I am very excited today to finally see the ban being put in place. And if anyone doesn't think there's climate change, it's really not usually 60 degrees on January 1st in New York City.
That's right.
But, you know, nothing's changing. We have to make commitments to change our behavior as consumers, to be able to invest in our future and ensure that our children and our grandchildren will inherit a planet better than the one that we found. So I am just super excited about today, and I'm thrilled that particularly the children came out to show their support for the hard work. But we need to continue to move forward to make sure that we actually get to our zero waste to landfills goal. And I am committed to doing it, and I know the mayor is as well. Thank you.
So we are proud in Brooklyn to have leaders who have really understood for a long time how much we had to change. Well, Catherine said, I mean, I was feeling it, but I wasn't recognizing the fact that, look at this, we're all not supposed to be wearing this kind of clothes on January 1st outdoors. Something's wrong. Global warming is real. But in this part of Brooklyn, for years and years have been activists demanding the changes that we need. And here in this district, Brad Lander has been a leader and a leader citywide, and he's been leading the charge on Styrofoam. Councilmember Brad Lander.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Happy New Year. What better way to spend noon on New Year's than at your neighborhood waste transfer station? Is that right? And actually, I don't know how many people have spent time looking at the National Geographic's Planet or Plastic Hub, but I would really like to ask the media as you're working on your stories today to take a look, and you can even do it now while I'm talking and skip quoting me and just look at that site, because you'll learn a lot there about why this is so critical. We are continuing to send, on average, something like 9 million tons of plastic waste into the world's oceans every year worldwide. We are quite literally choking our planet with plastic. One clamshell container, one styrofoam cup, one plastic bag, one straw, one plastic bottle at a time. If we are serious about choosing our planet over plastic, then today is a good day, and we got to fight to have a lot more days like it. Is that right? It can be easy to get cynical in this fight because there's so much we have to do, and the mayor talked a lot about it. We've got to decarbonize our energy, and that's why it's so important we're divesting from fossil fuels, and why in Washington they're fighting for a Green New Deal. We've got to make our buildings more sustainable, which is why the Dirty Buildings Law is such a big deal, and we're working closely with the administration to get that done to make New York City the first city in the country to require big buildings to retrofit for energy efficiency. We've got to move our cars off fossil fuels, and we're working together to promote more electric vehicles in this city. We've got to prepare for the rising seas for what's baked in already. But boy, one thing we've got to do is confront the ways that we are choking the planet with plastic. And today is a really big deal. It has been a hard fight. So I also want to say a couple of thank yous here, because we're doing this 5 years later than I wish we could have done it. And boy, the way that the Commissioner of Sanitation and the administration, the law department fought here. And I want to just connect two dots, because when the mayor said earlier, we're taking it to the fossil fuel companies, that's not only kind of, you know, a soundbite. What happened here is that the fossil fuel companies fought to prevent us from doing this. And the reason we're 5 years later is because a poison pill was put in the original bill, and multiple lawsuits were funded by people who profit from selling styrofoam. It's not that complicated, but we did not back down. The city kept fighting, doing the right thing, making the analysis, and I'm really grateful to the mayor and the commissioner and the director and the whole team. But we also know that the long-term energy we need is going to come from the activists, and we are so lucky to have them. So to NRDC, I want to shout out Cafeteria Culture, who helps organize these young people, Debbie Lee Cohen and Rhonda Kaiser, to the kids from MS88 and PS15 and PS154 and all throughout the neighborhood. Couple other great allies here. I'm going to shout out Jenny Romer from Plastic Bag Laws, because if you think we're done with styrofoam, we're not done now that we got styrofoam gone. Plastic bags, we're still coming for you. It's a great day in New York City. I'm proud to be here standing with all of you. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much, Brad. One more person I want you to hear from, and I want to give credit where credit is due, Natural Resources Defense Council. Years and years ago, I turned to them on this issue, and they provided the research, they provided the inspiration, they provided the ideas of how we could frame the legislation. And so many ways, I want to thank them for all they have done over the years to protect our Earth. And my honor to turn to the Regional Director for New York of the Natural Resources Defense Council, Mark Eisman.
Well, thank you so much, Mayor de Blasio and Sanitation Commissioner Garcia, for your incredible leadership and vision in securing this important environmental initiative. We also want to thank former council member Fidler and the current council members Lander and Reynoso for their work in standing up to the plastics industry to support a foam ban that will benefit the city and its residents. I also just want to acknowledge my NRDC colleague, Eric Goldstein, who has worked for more than 5 years to help secure this ban. Amazingly, he couldn't be here today. I also want to thank our great environmental allies, including Cafeteria Culture, for all of their work. And the biggest thank you is to the school children across the city for engaging in the political process and coming out to show City Hall their support for a ban on polystyrene foam containers. We remember, of course, that it was school kids and their parents who joined with then Councilman de Blasio to launch the campaign to get rid of polystyrene food trays in the city's public schools. And we all know that foam, food, and beverage containers are a first-class environmental nuisance, littering streets and parks, polluting local waterways, and contaminating the city's recycling stream. In banning foam and beverage containers, as well as packing peanuts, the city's new regulation takes a big step down the road to a more sustainable waste system. Of course, as important as today's announcement is, much more needs to be done. And so we hope, Mayor and Commissioner, that this is one of many such environmental celebrations we'll have with the Mayor and with the Commissioner and the City Council over the next 3 years, including on plastic bags, as Councilman Lander just said. And we're also looking forward to a celebration later this year when the Mayor will hopefully sign a new law implementing commercial waste zoning.
Oh, yeah, good. They're fighting hard on that one, too.
So 2019 is off to a great start. Thanks so much.
Well, everyone, a very happy new year to you. This is a good way to begin, and let's give the last word to our students. Tell us.
One, we are the people, two, a little bit louder, three. We want to ban on EPS. One, we are the people, two, a little bit louder, three. We want